Greetings, Oracle fans. This is Justin, and in this YouTube Oracle tutorial video, we are going to show you how to change the DBID of an Oracle database. DBID stands for Database Identifier, and every Oracle database has a unique database identifier, or let me rephrase that, every database should have a unique database identifier. The database identifier is put in several places in the Oracle database. It is stored in the control file, and it is also stored in the headers of all the data files which make up the database. So let's show you what the database ID is of our finance database by logging into it. So we set our Oracle SID to finance. We ensure that it's set properly. And we connect to the finance database via SQL+. Okay, we're connected. Now, select name from the $database, and we see we are indeed connected to our finance database. And if we do a select DBID from the $database, we will see the unique number. And that number is, and there's 10 digits typically, usually, there are 10, it's a 10-digit number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just to show you that this number does not change on restarts of the database. It's persistent, okay? It is physically written to the control files and the data files, so it's not something that changes. And we just shut down the database, and now we're going to start it back up just to show you that. As you can see, it's the same number even after restart of the database. 2525-7272-1515-7070-7474. So we're good there. So now you may be asking, why would I ever want to change the ID of the database? Well, one, really, it's 10 digits that's randomly generated by the Oracle kernel. So it's like, you know, it's very unlikely that you would duplicate DBIDs, but I've come across, not in my field Oracle engagements with customers, but I have seen it, you know, by researching problems online and stuff. There's thousands of Oracle forums out there, and you know, some people claim that they've come across it on their databases, which I don't know, but you know, I guess that's true. But you know, that may be one reason. Another reason is the recovery catalog. There's a utility in Oracle called RMAN, stands for Recovery Manager, which is used to back up and recover your Oracle databases. That's what we call system managed backup and recovery. That is that is another video. Actually, to find another video series. RMAN is a big topic, but I have videos on that. And the RMAN Recovery Catalog registers the databases by its DBID, not its name. Okay, but so that may be a reason to change it. But like anything else, especially with computer programming, I found with the different languages that I teach myself over the years and do, is that when you're reading a programming book, for instance, and it says Java, for instance, the language I'm currently learning, has the ability to do this or that. And you're like, why would I ever need that? That's cool, but why would I ever need that? You don't know until you really get into it. So until you really start to develop an application with Java, you wouldn't really see the value of it. Until you really get into Oracle database administration, you're really not gonna see the value to it. But with that said, we should know how to set our DBID. So without further ado, this is how we do it. So, you come across a database that has this DBID, 25721-57074, and you wish to reset that. Okay, no problem. Shut down your Oracle database. Starting to come down. Closed. Dismounted, shut down. Okay. we don't really need to go where our database files are kept, which is C:/database or data finance, but I like to go there anyway. So remember I said before, the DBID is kept in the control files and they're kept in the DBFs. Now it's not like we can open these files with Notepad or some other editor and look for it and verify it. There are ways to extract stuff from these files without the Oracle kernel, but without the Oracle database. But that's more advanced topic. These files are all written to an Oracle proprietary format, so we're really not going to be able to see it. So you'll just have to trust me that the internal structure of the DBF's header has a header, and all those headers contain that DBID. Okay, so for sake of this presentation, I am going to save this number in a file so we can see that it indeed changed. We'll call the file DBID_number. There it is. There's the file, and let's view the contents of it. And there's the number. Okay, good. So now, there is so the first thing we need to do to change the DBID is we need to start up the database in a mount state. So we need to start up the database, but stop it. Don't just type in startup with no arguments or clauses, okay? You want to just do startup mount. So to say, start up the database, but stop after you have mounted the control file. Now, why do you need the control file mounted in this situation? You need it mounted because you need to change the DBID in the control file, and the control file also will tell, will also direct where all the data files are. Okay, so the utility that we're about to use to change the DBID. The control file needs to be mounted because the utility has to connect to the instance and ask the control file where the data files are. So we have now started a database instance, but stopped it at the mount stage. So now we go back to our operating system and we type in the command NID target / the name of the database, finance. Now, NID is a utility provided with Oracle. Okay, and I'll show you that in a second. Now, it's asking for the password. The password it's asking for is the sys password, SYS. Sys is a user that comes with every Oracle database, and it has a default password, which I haven't changed yet in this database, which is a big no-no. Always change default passwords. And the password by default is change_on_install. That's change_on_install. Change on install. And that's what I just typed in. And that's universal. Okay, so it says connected to database finance, the current DBID. It says control files and database. Change DBID of database. Type in yes. And as you can see, it modified all the control files and all of the data files. And it's telling you DBID, it's saying it's modified in the control file, but DBID was changed in all the headers of the data files. Okay, and right here it says it will change the DBID from this number to this number. And there's no way really to select it. It's automatically randomly generated from the Oracle kernel. Okay, so we have some messages under here. And by the way, see how it shut down the instance when it was done. But here are the messages. Database ID for database finance changed to 25721985113. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 digits. All previous backups and archive redo logs for this database are unusable. Don't worry about that message for now. I will. You should back up the database before you do this. That goes without saying. This I'll get into. This you'll understand more in the RMAN videos. Database has been shut down. Open database will reset logs. Successfully changed database ID. Completed successfully. So, per those messages, we need to start up with reset logs. And I'll show you what happens if you don't do that. If you just type in startup, which goes through all three stages: instance startup, control file mount, and data file open. It says it doesn't get past the data file open stage. It doesn't complete that right. It says we get an Aura error which says must use reset logs or no reset logs open for database. And we just type in alter database open, reset logs. Oops, I spelled it right. And now, we're going to select two columns, name and DBID. And if we compare that with our DBID underscore number file, we will see that the number has indeed changed. So, and as I mentioned before, and showed you before, you'll be able to shut down and start up the database, and the same DBID will remain. It's persistent. Two 525-7272-1919-8585-1313. And if we go to where our Oracle home is, where the Oracle database is installed, which is c:/oracle/app/product/11.1.0/db1, and we go into bin where all the commands are kept, we will see the NID utility. So the NID executable. So the NID utility program, whatever you want to call it, comes with the Oracle database software and gets installed in the Oracle home. Okay, so we're going to go back to our database kept. c:/database for data finance. And now what we're going to do is get rid of that file. I'm going to show you how to rename the DBID through another method. There's another method of doing it without using the DBID utility. Okay, so SQL plus, oops, there's our DBID, our database name. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make a special backup of the control file called a trace backup. And that's done with the following command: alter database backup control file to trace as c:/trace.sql reuse. Okay, backup made. Now we do a shutdown immediate, shut down our database. Now this type of control file backup basically creates a file which contains a bunch of SQL plus commands which recreate the control file of your database. Okay, instance shut down. Now we're going to edit that file that we created, edit c:/trace.sql. And we should always do first in this scenario is delete all. These are just, the hyphens just say that these are comments. They're rem statements. They're not really executed. Okay, it's just for you, the reader of the file. Okay. Come down to create control file, and it says, you see how it says reuse? You just type in the name, the word set. So we change reuse to set, database, finance, and we want reset logs, so we get rid of no reset logs. Okay? So create control file set, database, But notice how we're saying set database, but we're keeping the same name of the database. We're telling the create control file functions of Oracle, we're telling it that we don't want to rename the database, okay? That we're just recreating the control file. Clean this up a little bit down here. Move this up here. And go ahead and we'll delete the remainder of the file. So we have this startup no mount, and then we have this big create control file command, and it starts here and it ends here because that's where the semicolon is. And this will be executed by SQL plus type trace.sql, and there it is. So we go into our shutdown Oracle database and we start it up in a mount mode. Okay, so stop at mount. Okay, again, just like with the NID procedure. Now, just to remind you again, this isn't an extension off the NID procedure. This is just another way of renaming the control file. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is, now if you do select name, DBID from the database, you'll see the DBID. Execute the following PL/SQL procedure. Execute DBMS backup restore .0 DBID value of 0. So basically what this is doing is, this is the package. DBMS backup underscore restore is what we call the PL/SQL package. The dot separates the package name from the procedure. The procedure is 0 DBID. So 0 DBID is a procedure in the DBMS underscore backup underscore restore package. And we get into that in my tutorials on how to program in PL/SQL, which is basically programming in the Oracle database. So just hit enter there, and it says PL/SQL procedure successfully completed. PL/SQL is the name of the programming language that's built into the Oracle database. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But this is a procedure that comes with Oracle, and this basically what this does is it goes into all the data files and the control file, and it zeroes out in the header the DBID. Okay? And right here, the DBID still exists only because it's in the dynamic performance view, which is always persistent as long as the instance is up. Okay, so we zeroed out our DBIDs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shut down immediate. So shut down our database. Database not open because we never got to that stage. And now what we're going to do is we are going to get out of SQL Plus, and we're going to delete our control files because we're about to recreate them. So control files are gone. So now we go ahead and we just put the @ sign here, we use the @ sign, and then the name of the script saying execute the SQL Plus commands that are in this operating system file. Control file created. Now we do alter database open reset logs. Database altered. Now we type in select name DBID from the database, and look, voila, our DBID has been changed again, 4494, and it used to be 8513, the last 4 digits. Okay, and again, showing you that you can shut down your database, bring it back up, and this DBID will remain persistent. Startup. So, what exactly happened here? Well, if you lost your control file, you didn't multiplex it, mirror it, copy it, whatever you want to call it, and you didn't have any copies left, and clearly you can't start a database without a control file. Okay. Let's see if the number is the same, 4494, 4494. and you do a create control file script to recreate that control file, and all the data files have a DBID in them, it won't reset the DBID because it already has a DBID. It will just recreate the control file and start up your database, and you'll be ready to go again. But if we take out the DBID and all the data files, which that zero DBID procedure, PLSQL procedure, did for us, okay, then the next time you do a create control file command, which we showed you, it will see that all the data file headers do not have a DBID in them. And it will generate a new one automatically and write them to them. So that is how you change. Those are the two ways that you can change the DBID of an Oracle database. There are other considerations, but they'll be more clear after you learn about RMAN and whatnot. Okay? Thank you very much.